we supposed to say a major?
Yeah.
Biology.
What's up? I spoke. Anthony, I just finished my freshman year of life. And yeah, so I studied political science and I minored in urban and regional planning.
Okay, so this is how it's going to go. If you have a question, please raise your hand and I'll point to you and you could say your question. And you could direct it to either the entire panel or to a specific person. Hopefully we have enough variety here. Panel participants, try to keep your answers as precise and quick as possible.
Okay.
And so I'm going to open it up to anybody who has a first question.
Try questions, Ryan. You're in mod, man. In case no one else has it.
Yeah, right.
Is this what Sunday school teachers feel like? So first semester, how did you guys get involved in your campus ministries?
Well, thankfully, we had the predecessor who was kind enough to let us know everything there was to know about Cal Poly before we actually went in. Wesley and I mean, because Wesley's not here, he's in summer school right now. And so we had already heard of like, oh, Ryan goes to this awesome place called CCF. I guess we'll go there. We've checked out other places too. But I would say, as for getting involved in ministry, of course you have to basically the whole first quarter will be hopping. Churches, ministries, etc. It's kind of hard to get into a ministry that quickly, especially since no one really knows you yet and knows if they can trust you. So it's like really, obviously like, there are certain positions that people wouldn't let like new Christian go into and stuff, right? Like a small group leader. So getting into ministries was more of a later half of the year type of thing. I really would not stress about that so much if you can't get into something so quickly. If you can't do that, then just focus on strengthening relationships really, because then that's where a lot of ministry can be built on.
So was your question, was it like ministries, like campus ministries, or ministry like serving like
Yeah, just sorry, question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can really quick. For me, it's helpful too because my brother went to Irvine and like Mike Lee and some of the other guys from CG. So I had a sense of the ministries I wanted to check out. Sort of like Gideon, I wasn't doing too much serving my freshman year, pretty much all of my freshman year, and that's okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't stress out about that. I think that's not really that important. It's a great time to learn. And yeah, great ministry is just the relationships will make you read on. Just reach out to them. That's what it's.
If you're at home, ministry is built in for you. So you'll be hopefully continuing. I think it's probably hard to like balance everything, but especially since like you're gonna be the older one, or like I don't know, like the people that everyone looks up to in church. So there's gonna be a lot of expectations, and so yeah, I mean, but continuing to serve while at home in college is like a huge blessing, and it's an opportunity that not a lot of people have. So yeah, like definitely reaching out to like younger people at church, and also just continuing to build relationships and work hard to build a church while you're at home in college is a great opportunity.
Especially during the beginning of the quarter, there's going to be a lot of welcome events from different fellowships, and so there's going to be like there's going to be like ice cream socials and like barbecues, but those don't really count. Like you're just meeting people, so you have to keep on going to those fellowships. So a lot of fellowship hopping. As far as serving in a ministry, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of involvement in serving in a position in your first year, but you'll see. I think it's helpful to look out for the, I guess, older people, or you're going to see, you're going to be reached out to a lot because you're a freshman by the upperclassmen, and so it was a huge blessing to just experience that, and you'll see them as like a role model to like reach down to freshmen when you're upperclassmen too. But yeah, enjoy and learn from as you're when you first get there. And, yeah.
Number one, if you're a freshman, don't expect to pay for your food, generally, where you are. And if you fight it, I guess generally it's seen as kind of disrespectful, but I think people really want to serve you and love you, and if you get free Korean barbecue, or like free boba, or free yogurt, or free whatever, like, it's good, and enjoy it, because it won't happen ever again. I think especially for those of you coming out of a CD context, it's easy to look for like a ministry with a title, and freshman year is a great opportunity to learn how to serve people, without having a title. Looking for maybe people who have a hard time socializing, being their friend, reaching for people who might fall through the cracks, and just really loving people, learning to love people, and learning to have a servant's heart. I would say that. And it's okay to be the youngest again. You guys are used to being top dog and leading committee stuff and helping out soldiers, and you guys are the babies, and it's okay just to learn and to grow in that way. So really, like, as a freshman in life, like, dude, I don't want to serve. I just want to, like, there's so much I don't know about a lot of things, and I felt that way my freshman year too. And so it's just kind of my encouragement to you guys.
I think it was Ryan who said that freshmen are gold to upperclassmen. And honestly, it's true. I remember Wesley, Ryan Chang told Wesley to find a CCF, our ministry, CCF Facebook page, and just be like, hey guys, I'm interested in joining your club. That's really all Wesley said. No caps, no punctuation. He's like, hey, I heard about you guys. I'm interested in checking you guys out. And then the first comment he gets is, do you need help moving in? And just like, what? You don't even know who this guy is. And people really love freshmen for some reason, because they're like young and impressionable, and they're so innocent, right? Think about how you look at middle schoolers, and you think like, wow, I was like that? Oh, everyone's so cute, right? That's how they're going to see you now. Right? Life is all about becoming like the experience, like cool person, and suddenly becoming a baby again. Everyone's like, oh yay! People look up to you, oh yeah! You're like, ha ha ha, and you go back down. You're like, oh, now I have to have people help me again. And so you do have to kind of adjust to being the baby again. I would say just appreciate it. It means people pay for you. If you really want to pay them back with like your
Swipes.
whatever they're called, swipes, food credits, plus dollars. They go with different names, but because they'll really appreciate that too. Because obviously you can give them the convenience of fast, not affordable, free food.
Well,
right?
your parents.
Yeah. If you have too much money, which you may have, colleges like to do that to people.
Sure.
That's all.
Another-
Enjoy freshman year.
Another question?
This isn't kind of faith related, but in terms of roommates, like what are the first steps? Like what kind of agreement we should set up before?
Am I supposed to start?
Anyone.
Okay. Fresh experience, man. At first, you don't really know exactly what you're going to have to go through. I mean, it'll probably be stuff like, we're going to turn off the lights at this time. Don't stay in the shower for too long. It turns out Wesley doesn't use the shower at all. No, he showers. It's okay. I'm exaggerating. So there will be some things that you'll like agree on that you think might be a big deal, and they won't become a thing at all. And there'll be things that you won't even realize. They're like, oh, now I can make an agreement about this. This is going to be awkward. Like, how are we going to use the Brita filter? And stuff like that. Like, you think, like, how is this thing a problem? But it is. Somehow, the Brita filter becomes a problem. I would just say, honestly, there's not much except for, like, noise and sleep. noise, sleep, and hygiene. Those are the three things that your roommates can ever really bother you about, besides them just being jerks in general. But that's a different story. Noise, sleep, and hygiene. If you can get those down, and anything else that comes up, I mean, it's not really a big deal. Once you get these down, just focus on building the relationship.
Remember, he's a guy.
That's true. This is true.
All I remember is that Wesley doesn't shower. That's the only thing I got out of that.
Great, Mike.
I'm not sure if it's all for all the dorms, but there's also like roommate agreements that there's. I remember when I moved in and my roommate and I, we went through a packet that they gave us, and it talks about things like throwing out the trash. Actually, I don't remember. But one really important thing was concerning overnight visitors. You should find out if your roommate has like a girlfriend or boyfriend, and especially if they're not Christian. Like, of course, they might see it as okay if they stay in the same room, and so be very clear up front. You know, like if you're like, you know, I would just like tell them if you like don't want their partner like with them overnight, and also you should know if you're passive aggressive or you know, like you want to be clear with the person. Don't just be a doormat. Yeah, it's okay to confront them, but also with gentleness and patience too.
Yeah, it's always easier to confront them before it actually happens.
If you're staying at home, your family is your roommates, and so I think definitely, especially through college, your home life is one of your greatest testimonies, and by the way you treat your parents and even choosing to spend time with your family, it's really important just to keep building that relationship. And it's also, again, I really struggled with it, but it's a really good opportunity just to be there for your siblings as they're growing up too, and just, family is important, and so yeah, family is roommates.
I just briefly say, I would just think of it as an arranged marriage for a year. It's and once that you just have to make it work. And sometimes you're gonna have to bend, and sometimes it's not worth it. Just being hey, you check this off on the list, and because you hear stories about people who become stickler, and it becomes very clear that you don't like your roommate, and those go south. You're gonna hate your freshman year if you can't even look your roommate in the eye. And so, obviously, for those of you guys who know my stories, I was pretty flexible, and I had drunk guys in my bed, and girls sleeping in my roommate's bed after the first week, and then and that wasn't even his girlfriend; he had a girlfriend too. And so, I wouldn't trade my freshman year experience for anything. I'll be totally honest, and learned a lot about myself and what I can put up with, and how to be a good testimony, be a good witness. But I would say, don't be a doormat, but especially for you guys, it's good to learn to live with different people. I think it will challenge your faith, for sure. It will challenge your love for people. You're going to find out you're not as loving as you thought you were, and you're going to find out that there's grace, especially if they don't know Christ. Your expectations, you shouldn't hold them to too high of expectations, in terms of their courtesy and their love to you, and so. I love I told you, I love freshman year. I love my roommate too, when he was sober. And even when he was drunk, he was really nice. He bought me he's 3 a.m., he's dude, I'll buy you the biggest burger at Jack in the Box. And then I'm dude, I don't want the biggest burger. And he went out and he bought the biggest burger at Jack in the Box. And he brought it to me at 3 in the morning. And that's stuff that I learned to live with. I look back and I laugh. And but I learned to put up with a lot. And not for everybody, but yeah, I just encourage you guys to be flexible too. Yeah, just don't be a legalist and hold everyone to the T and dot the I's and stuff. How many of you guys have random roommates? You guys out of curiosity? Everyone but Connie. Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to hearing the stories after first quarter or first semester. I really do. It's really different for everybody.
Okay, another question? Right?
I guess in general, what were you expecting of college before you went there, and what actually was it like?
I didn't know what to expect. I was just kind of like, oh no, I have to go to college. And this is me sitting in front of my computer, right? And then I'm sitting in the car, oh no, I'm going to college. and I'm in my dorm, oh, I'm in college. And then I'm sitting at the class, like, this is college. So you just, there is.
Remember, he's a boy.
Yeah. Right? It's like, oh no, where is it? No, I don't know how that feels like. But I mean, whether you expect things or not, it's still a completely fresh experience. And you're going to have to adjust either way. I didn't know what to expect of ministry or the churches or anything. That was pretty scary for me. I mean, thankfully we had Brian Chang, the guide, right? But you're right. Some things actually will still kind of be like high school in the sense that the things you talk with people will still be very similar things sometimes. Like you'll talk about class, what teachers, talk about video games. When you talk about ministries, you're still talking about spiritual things. Afterwards, you're still going to goof off with people. When you're in class, you still have to pay attention. You probably have to pay more attention, actually. It's not like a sudden wave of terribleness. It's not a sudden wave of awesome things either. It's just the thing you have to get used to in general. I can't say it's like great or it's terrible, because it's just a big mix of things. It sounds really scary. It kind of is, but it's not as bad as you would expect it to be, unless like something really catastrophic happens. Like, I don't know, you get a roommate like Anthony or something. I don't think that will happen to most people. You'll manage, that's all I can say. Whether you expect things and you're correct, whether you expect things and
It's nothing on either of these extremes, and you learn to adjust, and there's a lot to learning from college. But yeah, so if you're on either of those two extremes that take heart, it'll be okay.
For me, it was two things too. I was homeschooled, so I never went to public school before college. So I was really scared because I was like, oh shoot, these people are all sinful, which was really bad.
Which is true.
Mentality.
Pagan campus.
Heathens left and right.
Heathens left and right. Running around.
So mostly, I didn't want to become desensitized in college. And then the second thing was I was really sad because I had gotten accepted to master's college, and I went to community college instead. And so I was really sad about that. But then I think that college, it's kind of like what you make of it. Like, you can go with a really bad attitude and be like, oh, this sucks, I'm going to community college, and these people are all terrible, and they don't study, and they just play around all the time. Or you could be like, hey, these people need God, and try to make a friend in every class, and try to share the gospel, and then try to use your time well, and do well in your classes, and don't just play around. I think I learned a lot definitely through college. Probably got desensitized a little bit, which wasn't good, but definitely learned a lot. But I think unless you look for those lessons that God's trying to teach you, it's really easy to miss them. And so even interactions with your classmates can really challenge you in ways that you couldn't have expected, but you would have missed it if you were too busy studying, So just be open to looking for those lessons.
I guess, yeah, two things for me, expecting about college, and thinking about sanctification. I don't know why, but I thought that, once I, after my first year of college, I would be this, or once I enter college or something, or when I come back home, because I would see people from our church come back from college, and I would see how much they've grown, and I'm I want to be be like those people. Like I want to, when I come back home, I want other people to see how much I've grown. And so I guess I had this expectation that I'll like have an automatic like level up in like certification, you know. But it's really just as gradual as it is, you know. Like you're still the same person, and it's just you still need to cultivate like the spiritual discipline, and it's still hard work by God's power, but it's nothing automatic in your sanctification growth. Another exhortation I had was about my roommate. I thought that we would be like, because I would hear stories about, like the good stories about how you become really close to your roommate, and that roommate ends up like becoming Christian, and then like becomes like your best man at your wedding, or like maid of honor at your wedding. So I thought that I would be really like good friends with my roommate, but actually we didn't really become friends. So I learned how to, like, we didn't really connect a lot. It's as if we were on different like frequencies. But you learn that that's okay. Like if you don't click with a person, like that's okay too. I learned how to love her, even though we didn't have that friendship chemistry. So yeah, so that was me.
Echo what they said. One thing I didn't expect from college and was sort of overwhelmed with was, firstly, I think as a freshman, like you're not too involved with internships or like too many clubs or anything. Like truly going, like I look back at high school and I'm like, how in the world did I spend 7 hours a day like in a classroom? Because in college you're gonna be like class at 11, and then class at 3, and then done. Like that might be your schedule, and so like, you know, I would say that I was overwhelmed and I was irresponsible with the amount of free time I had my freshman year, which is in part why I encouraged you guys in the way I did, because truly, yeah, there's nothing like freshman year, and I would say, yeah, like it's sanctification is gradual, but in that time, like if you want to lay a foundation for yourself to live off of, like my sophomore year, I was 80 my freshman year. So I went to the library from 8 to 11, like every day before class. I read my Bible, and you know what? And I can say I probably grew more that year than like the first 18 years combined. You know, like it's don't underestimate how much time you have, and like time flies by so fast. You're gonna be like, how is it 4 in the morning? Like all we did was just watch a movie and like go get boba and like do all these other things, and like college, time flies by so fast in college, and you know, enjoy it, but also I think be responsible with it, because truly it's a blessing, and you'll either become responsible with it or irresponsible with it. And as you go up in college, sophomore, junior, senior year, you'll be busier with ministries and internships, and freshman year really is, especially your first quarter, you're just socializing the whole time. Well, not all of you, but yeah. But don't get on academic probation. That happens to so many people after their first quarter. They just they over socialize, and yeah, no AP, right? No AP first quarter.
I'm sure they'll try. All right, another question. Okay, Aaron.
Did you guys have classes back to back or spread out? And does that depend on the person? I don't know. Or is that like preference?
Some colleges first quarter is selected for you. But after that, no matter what college you're in, you're going to start choosing your own schedule. So it's really up to you whether you actually want to have back-to-back or not. Like, as a person who just came from the campus dorms, like I'm close to all the classes, so I like it all spread out, so I can come back and just like, right? And then, oh, it's time, and then but I mean, obviously, if you start living like in an apartment way over there, you want everything back-to-back, because you don't want to be like, you can't do that, right? It's just a matter of convenience and what you're okay with. But yeah, you choose your schedules. That's a monster in itself, because everyone else is trying to figure out their schedules too, and it's insane. It's like Walmart on Black Friday, right? It's like, whoa, right? And you get trampled and everything. It's scary, but it's exciting, and you'll figure out what schedules work for you. I would also suggest figure out what classes you need and all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff you have to keep track of. That your school, it's not going to remind you of financial aid, right? All this stuff. And you have to really ask yourself, do I know what this means? Like, honestly. Because it's very easy to be like, okay, financial aid, it's a thing. I have to apply to it. I'll do that later. And then, like, when's it due? Oh, I don't remember. Then figure it out, because those things can really, how should I say, they're just very important. And there's a lot of information for you to know for every aspect of college life. Housing, payments, all this crazy stuff. So figure that out, and it's a really big hassle, but it's a really good thing to know. Also, you can help other people, because a lot of other people won't be doing that. What was the question again?
I'll say you'll find out pretty quickly what your preferences are after your first quarter. Like some people, they want their classes spread out so that they can go to the library in between and just study because they're already on campus. Some people prefer to study at home or in their dorm or not in the library. And so it really depends. Like if you're not a morning person, you know, either the best thing or the worst thing for like future precedent is to like, all right, I'm gonna have all my classes from like 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. so I can stay up till like 5 a.m. every day. And so you can either like, so you can do that because that's how you work, or, I mean, I don't advise that because that doesn't build up good habits in the future, but you'll find out really fast, like, hey, I like this study spot. It's like, I want to study here in between classes. And some people, they want to get everything done in the morning, so they have the whole afternoon free. Some people are like, I just want my whole morning free. I hate breakfast. I never eat breakfast, so therefore I'm just going to start all my classes at noon. So I think you'll find out really quickly what you like. It really depends on the person.
Let's get another question.
What are you guys nervous about?
Okay, I have a question. Doesn't have to be the whole panel. If you just feel if you want to field this question is, what was the hardest thing to transition from high school to college, and how did you deal with that, or any other suggestion? What was the hardest thing that you had to transition from high school to college?
It's easy for me. Learning how to study for real. Like homework grade, like homework in high school, you can do like the period before, and it helps your grade. And you can do it during lunch. You can do it like in 10 minutes after class. Like when you get home, you know, like you have that buffer. But for me, like I was an unfortunate product of like a lot of cramming my freshman year, and didn't result in the best grades. And so it's kind of weird because like after college, my senior year, that's when I started like looking at like productivity blogs and time management, all that stuff. And if I knew that my freshman year, like I think my the transition from having no homework buffer to just test would have been a little bit easier. So that was the hardest thing for me. Can't overachieve on your homework, Christina.
Good, I see conviction. Anybody else on the Q&A channel?
The hardest thing for me was finding a church, or transitioning into a different church. I really felt like, I mean, growing up in CG and being in Tigs and CY, like you build like you have a good foundation. Like you guys are leading a really no church is perfect, but you guys there's the youth program, and like I was really blessed by CY and like going to Mexico and Ecuador and just hearing all the messages. And so especially during the first quarter, like finding a church, I felt so uprooted, and I think that was like the hardest thing. But then once you find a church that really loves the word, and you're being fed, like that's when that really helps you know which church to go to. So yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me was watching everyone leave and staying behind.
Oh.
It's really hard, especially like when you're, you know, community college. Like everyone's like, oh, she's just going to community college. But then like they go off to these great fellowships and they're like growing a lot spiritually, and then they don't remember like people at home are also going to college, but you know, fellowship at home might not be as like geared towards college. And so I would encourage all of you to remember your friends who are staying at home, and remember that like, you know, they need encouragement as well as you. Like it might be really scary for you to like leave and go away, but then it's also kind of scary for them to stay behind and have to like continue to be faithfully serving and faithfully like giving out when there's not so much being fed into them. And so I think that, you know, as like brothers and sisters, we need to remember each other. Like we, like when you guys come home, it's really easy to be like, yeah, my fellowship was so great. I learned so much. My church is awesome. I love it. I want to go back. But then to remember, to forget, it's easy to forget that, you know, CG is also continuing throughout the year, and that there are people who do stay at home. And so to remember, like, you know, it's great to be in love with your new fellowship, but also to remember to like be praying for CG and be praying for like the ministry going on at home, and like to share like what you have been learning, because for me it was really awesome to be like, wow, like it's so great to hear like all the things that all of these other fellowships are doing and like all the things that they're learning. But then it's kind of discouraging when people are like, oh, you know, it's so much better than CG. I've been learning so much more and growing so much more. So just remember and just be like mindful of the people who just stay at home. Yeah.
I think for me, this is my question, but I guess a difficult part of college for me, my freshman year, was I guess overcoming like the fear of man. I think that's something I really struggled with my freshman year of all of college. I think what ties into it is that kind of, I think throughout high school we're I guess the culture is to have these really high expectations in college, and to put a lot of hope in, I guess, your experiences in college as like the best times of your life. And yeah, so I think my freshman year, that's something I struggled with, like wanting to form all these great relationships, and then I guess like putting a lot of my hope in these new relationships, and I guess being happy when they go well, being discouraged when they don't go well. And kind of also having that intermingle with your faith life, because your social life, I mean, if you become involved in ministry, your social life and your life of faith, they become very like intermingled. And so if you struggle with the fear of man, know that that's like a big temptation, because you know these people, you know, your spiritual motivations can, these other motivations can kind of seep in. And yeah, I think something I realized is just how to, you know, just be earnest, be honest in your faith, and to recognize when you're not happy, when you don't have pure motivations, and realizing that like if you're living for the fear of man, then that's going to be something that's going to like make you miserable for your whole life, especially when you're doing spiritual things if you don't have pure motivations. So that's something that I had to wrestle with a lot my freshman year, and something I'm still learning.
I'm basically just going to echo Tiffany and Anthony. Anthony, for studying, I don't care how good you are at studying, it's still going to catch you off guard when you go to college. Some people will adjust faster, they'll be caught off guard, but they'll adjust really quickly. Some people like me will be caught off guard, and then, okay, I'll study more. You study more. Oh, I'm still caught off guard. And you're like, how much do I have to study? And it's really stressful. If you can get into the rhythm, a good rhythm of studying, like figuring out where you like to study, when you like to study, what helps, that's really great. Stick with it. If you need to study in groups, find a group.
Don't study in groups. Well,
I can't study in
depends on who
groups.
you are.
I'm bad at studying. I go to group, it's even harder. So, but I would just say this. It sounds kind of, I don't know, bad maybe, but overestimate college, especially the first quarter, especially the beginning of the quarter.
Academically, or everything.
Everything really, just especially academics, overestimate because when you underestimate something, that's usually what ends up killing your grade. It's true. It's true. You think you can think, oh, I did really bad in this test, but it's okay. I'll just do really well in the final. Don't think like that. Just because remember, it's all tests and everything matters. Also get used to failure. Not in the sense that don't just like resign yourself. One good thing, a testimony from CCF's ex-leader, he just graduated. But he was talking about how he was a really academic kid. And then in his third year, he failed his first class. And he's gotten like A's and B's like all before this. And so that can really crush you, but you need to learn how to adjust to that really quickly because college isn't straight A's anymore. It's very easy to straight A's in high school. You need to just do your homework. Right? You just kind of, oh look, I got an A. And so, well, it's not that easy, but don't freak out if in your first quarter you have like a B minus. And this time B minuses count, right? B minuses are not the same thing as B's.
Minuses count.
It's scary. Yeah, remember that too. But it's just a different game now. You have more free time, but you don't really. Don't fall into the illusion that because you have more free time, that means that's less time to work. No, it just means more responsibility to work. And so don't be afraid about going out and having to meet new people, especially in a church setting since everyone's Christian. Outside the church setting, like once you just have to meet people in general, like your dorm neighbors and your dorm mates, still don't be afraid because they're probably just as nervous as you are. They're probably pretty open to make friends just because they don't have any friends around them. Same as you. So just be outgoing. Just be silly. Just greet everyone. Talk to them a lot. Study skill, but everyone is trying to make friends as quickly as possible. So don't be afraid about, oh, this is going to be awkward. No, they're thinking the same thing, but they don't care. They're like, oh, this person came to talk to me? Oh, this is great. I'm going to make a friend. Even if you guys don't end up actually becoming friends, that one moment can put you guys in good terms, which is great.
Yeah, I would just say, one thing I underestimated about college and how difficult, and I underestimated how easily it was to make new friends. And I didn't take advantage of it as much as I could have in my dorm experience. Because if you guys are going away dorming, it's a once in a lifetime thing. Unless you're in LA, you do it for 3 years. But like Chris, he reached out to his dorm and he brought people out to campus ministry, and I didn't do so as much as he did. And it's amazing how open people are. Like when I do random EV, if I get a freshman, I'm just like, yes, impressionable, take you to church, open to talking about worldview stuff. It's a university. People are open to talking about a lot of things, and so I wasn't ready for that transition. Because in high school, you have enduring relationships, so it's hard to bring certain things up. But in college, at the very beginning, I would say, don't just go for the gospel right away, but make good friends, let them know you go to church, maybe invite them out once in a while, and I think you'll see God move in the dorms if you have that mindset early on, as opposed to third quarter, week 8, you're just dang it, I just wasted a whole year of opportunity to make new friends and to build relationships. So.
We have time for one more question. One more.
No pressure.
All right, you guys spit it out. You like making.
One more question.
I'm trying to think of a question for the whole.
Why are you holding it?
Oh, that way I don't have to screw it in. It takes time to screw it in. I don't want to miss a thing.
If we don't have one more question, then we'll end our Q&A panel.
I'll have one more thing to that previous question. It's hard to pray the freshman year too. You're gonna be in your dorm room, and then you won't know when your roommate's coming in, and sometimes your roommate will come in or doing devos in your dorm room. You're gonna be if your roommate's not Christian, you're gonna have some conversations pretty fast, all right? And if you're not ready to have those conversations, then I'm not saying don't read in your dorm room, but spiritual disciplines, in a community environment, it's a new thing, and it's praying, reading. Your roommates will see the books on your shelves. You've got John Piper's like, don't waste your life, or like desiring God. You know, your non-Christian roommate's gonna see it, and you know, all the friends he brings over is gonna see it. All the friends you bring over are gonna see it, and you know, that whole dynamic, I think, is just, it's just so interesting, especially freshman year when you just have so many people walking in and out of your life, and in your room, out of your room, and there's really, I mean, yeah, for those of you who are going away, there's really nothing like it. It can be scary. You know, sometimes you'll be like, I don't know if I want to read my Bible in my dorm room because, like, I know my roommate goes to the atheist club, and like, I'm not ready to have those conversations yet. Or you know, there's so many things that can factor in. But I would just say, with your spiritual disciplines, like, you might have to be flexible. You might have to find somewhere quiet outside your dorm room, where you know you feel like you can do things without like people barging in or asking you to go out to lunch. And it's really hard to carve out quiet time freshman year. And I would just encourage you guys to preserve that time with God as much as you guys can, because I don't know about you guys, but it was hard freshman year. It was really hard freshman year. So.
Okay, great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close off on this session. Thank you, Q&A panel. Let's give them a round of applause.